Hi, I'm Fritz Erschell. It is almost unbelievable. Truthfully, when you think of the number of people and the wonderful things that have come from Highlands High School over all the years, things I may have done sort of shrink in importance, but it's wonderful, and I do appreciate it greatly. Well, I think in any city, the education of their young people is the most important thing that can be done. This gets very strongly felt, in my opinion, and those of my cohorts, my people that also were doing things for the city and for the Board of Education. The Board of Education is the most undistinguished group in the world. They give all of themselves at very small public recognition, but they were attempting to grow and do some things that were beyond their financial ability. So it became apparent that it would be possible to get a group together and perhaps talk to the citizens of Fort Thomas and some of the parents in Fort Thomas and see if we couldn't come up with some funds to do some things. We had an organization called the Committee for Fort Thomas. It was representatives from all the schools, all the clubs, all the PTAs, and I got involved with that to begin with. And it showed me a great potential right there of what could be done. So my move was from that into sitting with some people and organizing what became the Fort Thomas Educational Foundation. Just all the activities that there are, and the kids that were involved in them suddenly had some equipment to do things in themselves. I've had young men, young women come to me and say, thank you. I always wanted to have this item or that item, and the board could never afford it. But now through the Educational Foundation, we're able to come up with things. I went to the University of the South. I went to Sewanee. It was a great learning experience for me and a great time of my life. I enjoyed it greatly. But when I graduated, within 2 weeks, a little under 2 weeks' time, not only had I received a diploma and a bachelor's degree, but I also got a greeting from the Armed Forces saying, "Dear citizen, come and visit us. We want to talk to you about being in the Army." So I went to Germany, and it was very interesting. There again, I was lucky and was picked to do some good things. My great-grandfather started the funeral business in Newport in 1869. I was very lucky with my dad. Being the third generation of my family in the business. That's where I got the nickname Fritz. Someone would call and ask for Fred Erschell. Well, that was my granddad. Or they'd say, I want Fred Erschell. That was my father. Or they want Fred Erschell. That was me. So I became Fritz. It made it a lot easier within the office of our funeral home. But I've been very lucky in the funeral business. I've been able to enlarge our group. When I retired, we had 9 funeral homes across northern Kentucky. Through my fundraising for the Educational Foundation, my realization there were some thoughts that I thought the city council could be involved in and helpful. I went to a couple members of council, talked to them about it, and both of them urged me strongly to come with them, and so I did, and I was elected. I led the ticket. I spent 6 elections, 12 years, 2-year terms. Bruce Ross was the mayor, and Bruce felt that he had been mayor long enough. So he came to me and said he was going to retire as mayor. Would I be interested in running for mayor and taking his place? Well, I was interested. I was very interested. I had given an awful lot of my effort and my time to the city at that time. And so I ran unopposed. The first 2 times I ran those 4-year terms. So it was 8 years. I was mayor. Then suddenly an opponent appeared. I very luckily beat him 80-20, which made me feel very good about the whole thing. But then at the end of that time, my business was expanding. That many employees, you had a lot of things to think about. And so I went to Steve Pendry, who was on council at the time, and did the same thing as Bruce had done with me. So I think we've done our job and are doing our job, but we have a long future ahead of us and things to do still.